pretty much be GG, because if you don't stop the Naga from like getting the Radiance and then she gets farmed and you don't have anything to clear illusions, there's actually nothing you can do about it. So it's quite scary when someone first face Naga, because you have to, you know, keep in mind that even though they never played it on carry, they could, and it could be like really hard to deal with.
And if it's not on a carry, they have like so many combo tools that they can do, and there's no silencer anymore.
Definitely, and KYXY, he is a Naga player. He does play Naga from time to time, so I mean, Virtus Pro will have to keep that in mind.
I mean, it's already shaping up to be a very scary teamfight lineup from Fnatic. The sleep into like vacuum wall with no silencer. I mean, you can probably BKB out of it, but it's not going to save your supports. And if your supports die, Dazzle is useless. If you don't want him to grave himself.
When you see a lineup like this, you got to think about Enigma. Like it's one of the scariest hero right now to play against. I mean, for Fnatic, if Fnatic gets Enigma, it's very scary. They also play Enigma on Johnny quite a lot. So
I would not like to see the Enigma out of Fnatic here for one simple reason, and that's that, again, this is an issue with teamfight lineups in general, and it's an issue for Fnatic in particular. You have to survive the laning phase to get that Wombo combo online, and I really worry about the Enigma pick in terms of the pressure that it would put on Fnatic.
For sure. That's what they would have to do. But yeah, definitely. It would put a lot of pressure on them because it's quite greedy, but when you think about it as well, they don't need so much. They can just dodge fights, and then, because they sleep into hole, especially when you have the vacuum to back him up, there's
really
literally nothing you can do about it.
You can see by both the bans and the picks that both teams are placing a lot of emphasis on the laning phase. You see the Razor and the Viper banned, and you see, of course, FNG's Winter Wyvern banned out on the side of Fnatic.
Definitely, and it's most likely, I mean, Virtus Pro, it's hard to call it, but I feel like it's going to be, it might be at least the Shaker offlane. They've been playing it more than Shaker support, but they do play Shaker as well. I mean, mainly on, actually FNG and Lil, both of them play it.
I really like this Lina pick, by the way, both as a pick for potentially catching him, but to take in the 4 position. I generally don't like support Lina, but he's a very good support Lina player, and the farm that he gets throughout the game makes him devastatingly effective on that hero, as well as taking it away from Virtus Pro. G's mid Lina is absolutely terrifying.
It does look like it's Earthshaker that is going to be a support with DK Phobos taking on the Spirit Breaker. I really love seeing him on those heavy melee initiators. He does so well on those.
Yeah, and DK Phobos we don't talk about enough. He has the best KAD on the team.
Interesting fact about DK Phobos. You know that game that's called Osu that mostly CAS players play on their stream in between games with where you have to be very fast with your mouse? He's really good at that game. Like, amazingly good. And he's one of the oldest players on our team, so in theory people always say, oh, when you go older you get less...
Hey, whoa, let's calm down here a little bit, alright, before we get out of...
How good are you at OC?
Well, that's not the point, I'm just saying, you know, this is just a myth, this is just, you know, there's no science behind this. Ask Alan.
No science behind it. No, but that's true, and DK Phobos proves that, because he's amazing at OC,
yes.
Even though in theory apparently he shouldn't be, but, you know, he breaks that theory, so that's good.
Good, alright. I'm glad we got that cleared up. 1 pick left in each.
I think the TA ban's really important, considering VP is dire, and it's a hero that can kind of stand up to the initiation from Lina or Naga Siren, and also dominate.
Do we see the mid Bloodseeker here for G?
I don't like it personally.
Shut down.
You want to have something that's less squishy, because if you're going to be standing in the middle of all of that AoE that's going to come out from Fnatic, you do not want to have a Bloodseeker at all.
It's just, you know what, I actually agree with Merlini, but it's such a VP pick.
I think Wraith King only picked 4 times.
So Fnatic's lineup
TI5.
It's very scary. Honestly, I think they have a very good lineup. It's very balanced. Yeah. It's quite scary to face, and they're not going to be able to shut down there like this safely. I mean, Virtus Pro is not going to be, I don't think going aggressive against like Lina, Naga, or anything is it's an easy task. I think it's very risky from them, so they're probably going to have to deal with a strong safe lane from Fnatic, and that also means a jungle that's secured for SF to farm. So we'll see. Like, G's hero is going to be very important. The matchup G versus Mushi is going to be crucial.
I'm still going to say this is a DK or a Bloodseeker. I really do. I think that those are G's 2 best heroes probably that are left in the pool.
I wouldn't be surprised that no matter what G plays, that Earthshaker is going to hang around mid until G is safe, and until Mushi on that Shadow Fiend is slowed down. Because, I mean, you're not going to stop him, but you can slow him down.
The only problem with those melee heroes is that you're going to give SF a very good start.
Yeah.
And you're giving Mushi SF a very good start, so
Dragon Knight.
And that's what they're doing. So it was a very nice call from you, but I'm a bit worried for the G DK in that case, because I don't think Shaker is going to be enough for him to do well in the lane.
I would tend to agree. I do think Fnatic have the stronger draft here, but again, we've seen throughout the day today, it's execution, and especially execution early that matters.
Definitely.
Okay, it is the battle of the orange. Virtus Pro versus Fnatic. It's time to go and join our commentators. Give me great pleasure to introduce a man who has sweated blood and tears and passion to be at the International in the last 12 months. Capitalist, it's all yours.
What an intro. Thank you, Red Eye. Couldn't be more excited here. We're going to be burning the midnight oil here, but the hype couldn't be realer. We've got 2 more best-of-1 elimination matches on our hands, Blitz. Fnatic facing up against Virtus Pro. This has got to be a tough one to call, right?
Yeah, I would give the edge to Virtus Pro, but I think it was at, what was it, the tournament that we cast at MLG, where Fnatic actually knocked out Virtus Pro, if I remember correctly, or was it the other way around? Regardless, the game was really close. That's all I remember. And I'm pretty excited to see this, especially with how the last game went. If it's anything like the Navi Vici Gaming game, I'm so hyped for this.
All right, starting things off already. A little bit of all chat coming in. Virtus Pro, just happy to be here. Have fun, says Lil. We're going to be starting things off. Looks like pretty normal. We got a defensive tri-lane coming out from Virtus Pro. Illidan playing a signature gyrocopter. Lil going to be playing the Earthshaker, babysitting him, and probably roaming into that middle lane. FNG is on our Dazzle, sitting behind God's Dragonite in the middle lane. And we have an off-lane DK Phobos Spirit Breaker. Meanwhile, on the Fnatic side, 4 of them inside of their own jungle right now, starting with KYXY on the Wraith King. Johnny playing his Lina. Mushi on the Naga Siren. Ketchigimba playing the SF. And Ohio on the off-lane Darkseer.
I'm actually so excited to see this mid matchup. I'm actually really surprised to see that Ketchuk Imba is actually going to be the mid player for Fnatic in this game. And how often do you see that? Mushi just giving up that role, I guess, and it looks like he's going back to playing support.
Yeah, we talked about this, right? That Mushi, it seemed like Mushi wanted to be able to take that mid role onto himself and basically put the whole entire team on his back. But it seems like in this moment, when you come down to the very clutch, he's going to depend on his allies. He's going to be playing that support role and rely on Ketchigimba and KYXY to carry him. They're going to be heading now into the middle lane. Starting things off, Johnny already doing that early blocking that most supports should try and do in order to give Ketchigimba that slight bit of advantage over the DK, because this is already going to be a really tough matchup for the DK, correct?
Yeah, it's actually not a lane that he's going to succeed in, because even with the Dazzle there, they have almost no kill potential onto the Shadow Fiend. And worst comes to worst, Ketchigimba can just go into the jungle like they had discussed in the chat. And this is a matchup that a DK struggles with regardless. Shadow Fiend is one of those heroes where there's maybe 2 heroes in Dota that can beat him heads up, and neither of them are melees.
Pretty standard as support, usually trying to sit on the SF to make sure he does get, bit of action here in bottom lane. DK Phobos, double stuns get laid out. Now he's so tanky, but KYXY managing to stay in front of Spirit Breaker to get that extra bit of damage, will be able to force out that early health potion and keep him at bay. But as we see, that middle lane, normally you want to have that support try and sit on the SF for the first 1 or 2 levels to make sure he's not pressured out or anything. And the side benefit being that Mushi, especially on the Radiant side, is going to be able to stack up for him.
Yeah, and the problem right now with VP's lanes are the Darkseer isn't getting zoned out whatsoever by the Earthshaker, and so the Dazzle has to rotate back up here, meaning that it is a 2v1 matchup in mid lane, and Mushi's just glad to be able to do this because Ketchigimba is doing such a good job in CS. He leads the charts right now at 9-2. I think sooner or later, Mushi's going to realize he doesn't really need help anymore. And, I mean, I'm still surprised that with his tournament hopes on the line, Mushi turns to the 16-year-old.
Yeah, this young player, Ketchigimba, we've seen the storyline of him about doing that piece. It's basically being, the young player that Mushi is trying to mentor to become some of the best players in Southeast Asia. Now, I love the fact that they're dual laning right here because the fact they're still able to keep up an experience.
There might actually
be your first blood here. They're able to snag it with an early ensnare. And the dual lane against God turns out very favorable. And this is such a big shutdown to Virtus Pro because God has been sort of the mainstay for Virtus Pro. Such a leader for them, always determining the tempo of an aggressive game for VP.
I think that's the first time I've seen God die before the 3-minute mark in a 1v1 matchup. Granted, the Naga was there, but he was still in a really precarious situation, staying with such low mana and HP. And it does feel like he's a little bit bothered. Well, he's really bothered right now by what Mushi's doing, and it's going to make you tilt and sometimes just come up with bad decisions, and he opted to stay with that little HP. They're going to punish him for it.
And the best part is catching Imba, especially since they got a kill. But either way, he's not going to be falling behind in experience because they have this big stack available for him. As Mushi is constantly making that one go. Shadow Fiend, despite their kind of like half dual laning, is actually going to be just fine in experience and will keep up with God rather easily. Let's take a look at our offlane here for the side of Fnatic. We've got Ohio the Darkseer. He's playing up against a Gyrocopter as well as an Earthshaker. Actually go down. Oh, a little bit more damage, 24 HP. Virtus Pro unable to secure the kill there. And Ohio probably going to have to head back to base now. Almost has his complete soul ring, though.
Yeah, once he has that, he can pretty much just alternate to the jungle. There's no reason for him to just stay up here. He's not really contesting the Gyrocopter's farm. As you see, Illidan's already at 21. He's not bothered by this too much. If he wants to just CS that Ion Shell creep, he can just go for the Rocket Barrage. There's no real need for him to stay in this lane. I think going to the jungle might be a better idea. Like, there's actually one stack here. Oh, I think they'll go for the second stack by Johnny. And once that happens, you can divide it. You can give Krichik Imba one, you can give your offlaner the other, and you can divide the farm up. And meanwhile, Mushi can just take the mid lane once the Shadow Fiend hits level 5, level 6.
That early laning ward actually being spotted out by Ohio. He pinked it. FNG placing a little bit before nighttime struck, so he was seen, unfortunately. Ketchik Imba hitting now his level 5, even doing a little bit of bottle crowing where he's just sitting on a magic stick and a branch with his bottle coming in. Looks like he's got his boots now as well, but you can just see he's not going to be able to put enough pressure on the SF anytime soon. And if you can't put pressure on the SF in the laning phase, and you're allowing him to be able to also clear through his stack, what's really your next timing to kill the SF?
I mean, you can't really kill the SF in this position. You're going to have to wait for your Spirit Breaker to get a few levels. And he's doing a really good job right now in the offlane picking up levels. And all he has to do is play patient. Like, the Shadow Fiend is going to get ahead of you by virtue